Today on 7th Circle Gaming, we're going to be analysing Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game which garnered a fair amount of controversy when it first launched. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons that we've held off on analysing the game for as long as we have. But hopefully now enough time has gone by that we can look at the game without getting caught up in these socio-cultural aspects of it. Either way, we will get started in just a moment after the full disclosure, and of course you're welcome to read through all of this at your leisure. If that isn't really your thing, just let the video run. We'll start off today's video by taking a brief look at one of the environments the players are going to explore in Dragon Age the Veilguard. From what we've already seen, the game is set in a high fantasy world where magic is a definite possibility. The high fantasy elements aside, the in-game world is very relatable. Trees look like trees, cities look like cities, and treasure chests look like treasure chests. That's all for the in-game world, so let's now move on and talk about the user interface, starting at the bottom left-hand corner, where we have the character health indicator, as well as the currently selected weapon set indicator. At the bottom center of the screen, we have our cooldown timers not only for our player character, but our party members as well. At the top right-hand corner of the screen, in its usual place, is the mini-map, and just below that is our quest journal, where our currently selected quest is displayed. And now, as a special added bonus, we have some early game combat footage that we'd like to share with you. We'd like to share this with you for two reasons. First of all, because it shows off what the early game combat can look like, but it also illustrates the special combat menu. From the menu that you've seen already a couple of times, the player is able to give direct instructions to party members to use special abilities that they have or target a specific enemy. In-game world of Dragon Age the Veilguard is designed in a modified hub-and-spoke way, with the primary hub, where all of the party member interactions take place, being called the Lighthouse, and the secondary hub world called the Crossroads. From the Crossroads, all other in-game worlds are accessible. As we'd expect for an RPG, the game includes an inventory system, as well as a skill tree. Speaking of skill trees, let's now move on and look at the in-game skill tree for the player character. Now, this game allows players to not only manage their own skill trees, but also the skill trees for their party members. But in order to keep the video to a reasonable length, we're only going to share with you what the player character skill tree looks like. For immersion, the game has earned a frankly very high score of 13 out of 15. Based on all of our evaluation sessions, the game utilizes as many tools in its toolbox as it possibly can to create immersion. Although we must admit that this is part of an existing franchise, and that may have an effect on its ability to create immersion. In the area of difficulty, the game has earned a score of 6 out of 15. The default key bindings are genre standard, although keyboard users may note that the jump command is not in its usual place. The question of whether or not there is an optimal class is one that you're welcome to discuss in the comments section, but based on all of our evaluation sessions, we don't believe that there really is an optimal class or one that is extremely overpowered. As we've noted, the impact of the difficulty options are not immediately clear, although we do believe, after some experience with the game, how those difficulty options may impact the game becomes more obvious. For lasting appeal, the game has earned a score of 6 out of 15. It's all pretty standard stuff here. The option to retry the game on a different difficulty setting, retrying the game as a different faction or a different class, attempting to make different decisions, and so on and so on. Well, that's all for immersion, difficulty, and lasting appeal, so let's now move on and talk about the overall score. Overall, Dragon Age: The Veilguard has earned a score of 8.33 out of 15, which is distinctly above average. And that's all the objectivity we can manage for this video, so let's now move on and get subjective. The game is well paced, combat is fun, and keeps the player's attention. While we said earlier that we don't believe that there is an optimal class, we have to admit that it takes a while to encounter another party member that's a warrior or fighter, so starting as that class is going to create a more balanced party more quickly. We also don't believe that this is a good entry point to the series. Players are better served starting out with either Dragon Age 2 or Dragon Age Inquisition. The biggest faults, if we were to identify any of them, are that the game is extremely long, and it doesn't really maintain its immersion all the way through. So, one final note, and again this is extremely subjective, we don't really recommend purchasing Dragon Age: The Veilguard other than as a bookend to your experience. And on that final highly subjective note, congratulations to everyone who watched all the way to the end of the video. And although we don't say it often enough, we do very much appreciate everyone who watches these videos, leaves a like, and or subscribes to the channel. Although we don't say it often enough, thank you very much to everyone who watches these videos, leaves a like, and or subscribes to the channel. Now, we do have one final question for you. We asked it earlier and we'd very much like your opinions. Is there an optimal class for playing through this game? Let us know in the comments section below, and until the next video from 7th Circle Gaming, goodbye.